Hi fellow INTJs, it's Laura. I wanted to take a minute and redo my intro video because the first video was more motivational to try and get other people to join in, and I didn't really share very much about myself, so I wanted to redo mine and actually tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Laura, and I am one of the admins here on the INTJ forum. I like penguins. This is a cute little penguin that my son got me, I don't know, when he was out running errands. And this was my Christmas present. I actually got one from Build-A-Bear Workshop, so it has a little heart in it. And this is Zoe. So I have tons of penguins, but these are my two favorites right here. And I used to scrapbook. I have my scrapbook stuff back here. But I haven't probably used it since joining the INTJ forum because all my spare time is with you guys. Let's see. I keep forgetting what I want to share. Okay, so I have books. I wanted to recommend this book, Introvert Power by Lori Heljo. It says right here, it changed my life, no kidding. And I have to say, my whole life I was not allowed to be an introvert. I was raised to be an extrovert, so I am very comfortable in public speaking and being in leadership. I was kind of groomed that way. So it was quite a shock when I took the test last year and found out that I was introverted. I thought that it was wrong. And then I read the description of an INTJ and I was shocked. And I remember telling my husband that they should cut out my picture and stick it on the Wikipedia article because it was literally, I could be the poster child for INTJ. I never knew. And so I immediately started doing my research. And this is one of the first books I got. And I was looking through it trying to find a quote, because usually I write quotes down from the books, but I didn't for some reason in this book. It's more, for me it was more of a, almost like a manual of how to really embrace your introversion. And it was so eye-opening for me. I can't even find one thing to quote, but I wanted to read this part here. It says that the taboo against solitude presses against us. Half the population continues to declare our preference for introversion. It might take a while, but introverts eventually catch a reflection and like what they see. And despite criticism within and without, we find ways to be alone. Whether we find solitude in the woods or in the anonymity of the city, in a library or a monastery, or simply in the comfort of home, we find it. Sometimes it finds us. And when we finally calm the din of fearful chatter, and with Whitman inhale great draughts of space, we can declare with the poet, I am larger and better than I thought. I did not know I held so much goodness. And this is such a good book if you're new to understanding introversion or you want to learn more about it. Highly recommend this book. So over the last 14 months, I've been embracing it and remembering all these different events from my childhood and young adult life. And I've always been like this. I just was fighting it. I had no idea. And now that I know, I can explain myself better to other people so that they know that when I'm needing my alone time, I'm not rejecting them. It literally is something that I need, and I have to be alone or my head will implode or explode all over them and it won't be pretty. Okay, I have another prop. This is my book that I read when I was in grad school. And one of the best quotes in this book, we all want above all to be heard, but not merely to be heard. We want to be understood, heard for what we think we are saying, for what we know we meant. Just let that sink in for a minute. We want to be understood. We want to be heard for what we think we're saying, and what we know we meant. This is on gender communication, the difference between how men and women communicate with each other. Okay, and these three books here these are the only other books I have as my props, but these are all by my favorite author currently, Brené Brown. This is the first book that I read, although it wasn't her first book. This one, I thought it was just me, but it isn't, was the first book that she actually published. And then this one came out a while ago, about a year and a half ago. And this is the latest book that she's got. She's also got some lectures that you can download from audible.com. She's got a couple TED Talks. So interestingly, I read this book, these two books, before I ever knew I was introverted. And I guess with the INTJ, you know, we tend to be, I'm a 1W9 idealist on the Enneagram. And so this book, obviously, just, it says, let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are. So yeah, I'm always on this journey, but I wanted to read a quote here. So she says that research shows that perfectionism hampers success. In fact, it's often the path to depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis. Life paralysis refers to all the opportunities we miss because we're too afraid to put anything out in the world that could be imperfect. It's also all of the dreams that we don't follow because of our deep fear of failing, making mistakes, and disappointing others. It's terrifying to risk when you're a perfectionist. Your self-worth is on the line. And then she goes on to say that to overcome perfectionism, we need to be able to acknowledge our vulnerabilities to the universal experiences of shame, judgment, and blame, develop shame resilience, and practice self-compassion. When we become more loving and compassionate with ourselves and we begin to practice shame resilience, we can embrace our imperfections. And it's in the process of embracing our imperfections that we find our truest gifts: courage, compassion, and connection. This is a really, really good book. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend it, as all the books that I happen to be showing you today. And so this is the second one that I read. I thought it was just me, but it isn't. And this is actually her foundational work because she is a shame researcher. And I thought this was a really good quote. Shame forces us to put so much value on what other people think that we lose ourselves in the process of trying to meet everyone else's expectations. Shame is the voice of perfectionism. Yes, you might notice a theme here. Yeah, I have issues. You can tell. Okay, last book, Daring Greatly. I think my favorite book of hers was the Gifts of Imperfection, but Daring Greatly is right up there with it. And in this book, she's basically expanding on the previous two books, and she talks about vulnerability in here, and being wholehearted and having courage. And I think this one quote is really, really important. I thought this was funny too. When we spend our lives pushing away and protecting ourselves from feeling vulnerable or being perceived as too emotional, we feel contempt when others are less capable or willing to mask their feelings, suck it up, and soldier on. And I was thinking, oh, that reminds me of a lot of us in INTJ. Sometimes we get irritated with the feelers because, we tend to basically shove our emotions down so we can push through and, like she said, soldier on and suck it up. And, I know suck it up, buttercup is one of those phrases that I've heard a lot. And I get real irritated, like if my poor husband is sick. But now that we know that I have no empathy, I'm working on it. And I actually will go make the grilled cheese sandwich for him before he guilts me into doing it, so that he can feel better and have his soup, okay? Anyway, yeah, I'm still working on those issues. So anyway, I just wanted to say hi and share a little bit about who I am. I have lots more books than just these, but these are some that just basically hopped off my bookshelf and said, put me in your video. Again, if you haven't read Introvert Power, you just don't understand. Gifts of Imperfection, Thought It Was Just Me, Daring Greatly, great books. And with that, I'm probably going to sign off because my video's been too long anyway, but bye. Thanks for watching if you actually watched this far. Awesome. Hope to see you on the forum. And if you haven't done an intro video yet, just do it, because it's nice to get to know each other and see each other face to face. Bye.